Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's I'm going to be doing an off-road review with the GMC Sierra AT4X AEV. Now, I sadly won't be able to get any exterior shots of the off-road. You guys can probably tell it's very windy. It's just windy enough to knock my tripod over every single time I try to set up the camera. And so, yeah, this is just going to be a point of view review. But with that being said, let's just get right into it. Okay, so some quick specs. We've got 33-inch tall tires. I'm aired down to about 27 PSI. We have the AT4X AEV package here. So we've got the upgraded bumpers. We've got front and rear locking differentials. We got multimatic shocks. And sorry about the wind noise, just it is what it is. But anyways, this truck should be extremely capable off-road, tons of skid plate protection. Let's see how it handles the desert. Okay, so part of off-roading in the desert is going on very well-graded dirt roads. So we're gonna do that. I've got it in four-wheel drive auto, and oh, we actually have this little road here. We'll do this too. This will be fun. But yeah, this is a big part of off-roading in the desert. Is you basically have all these different. You've got more graded roads like this. This isn't graded, obviously, but stuff like this that isn't necessarily going to be super challenging, but it's what you have to use to get to some of the more challenging stuff. So I've just got it in four-wheel auto. And like I said, I've got the tire PSI down a little bit, so it looks like 27 on one side and 28 on the other side. Now, I will say, the damping is really good with this truck. At these like lower speeds, these shocks handle stuff really well. It's kind of at the more middle speed, which you guys will see in a little bit, that it's not going to be as good as something like, say, a Raptor. And so, I do think the diesel powertrain is very fitting with this truck, because I don't see this truck being necessarily like a truck that you're just hauling through the desert. I see this as a truck where you're kind of doing stuff like this, where you're not going, you know, rock crawling slow speeds all the time, but you're not going, you know, 70 miles an hour like you might do in a Ford Raptor. But yeah, the damping there is really impressive, frankly. So I don't think we go through. Yeah, we don't want to go through there. It's dried up, but if you guys follow the channel, that's where I got stuck in a Sequoia, because it is just a death trap. But it was in the middle of winter then, so a little bit different now. I will say the ground clearance so far has been pretty impressive. I mean, this has got a pretty long wheelbase, being a full-size pickup truck. And, you know, going through this, some of these articulated sections, you know, I'm not bottoming out. Now, I'm also not scared about bottoming out in this because of all the skid plate protection, rock rail protection, and all of that. And the four-wheel drive auto does a pretty good job with this kind of stuff where I mean, frankly, you could do it in two-wheel drive, but you're going to eat up the trails. Now here, I'll show you guys here quickly. A little bit of tug on the steering wheel with the four-wheel auto there. See, look, it handles this fine. Like, it's, again, this is a very, very graded road. But I just, like on this type, I mean, not in the turns here, but like on this type of road in a Raptor, I mean, 70 miles an hour. Seriously, those things are crazy. In this though, you know, it seems like it's more at home going in this range, like around 40 miles an hour. It seems like the truck's a little bit more comfortable with that. Yeah, just with how the travel is and everything. So I would call this like a middle speed off-roader, which isn't a bad thing. Well, we have gotten to what this truck is kind of made for in a sense, and that is more rock crawling type stuff. Now, obviously, this isn't meant to do insane Jeep Wrangler levels of rock crawling, but you know, stuff like this. This is Little Moab, for those of you that are wondering. Great place if you're a beginner with, you know, rock crawling. There is some more difficult stuff up here, but there's also a lot of stuff that is very approachable, and this isn't a super busy area. And so, you know, you can kind of learn the limits of your vehicle in a place where you're not going to get embarrassed in front of a bunch of Jeep bros most of the time. So I'll actually show you guys this obstacle quickly outside, and then we'll go through this one first. But that little like kind of climb there shows how good this is in four-wheel drive low. The torque is just fantastic with this diesel. So again, four-wheel low, diffs open. Don't think I'm going to need a diff lock for this, frankly. I will probably go on three wheels though, if I can. Oh, the one pedal drive is weird. Got to get used to that. I'm used to doing the brake modulation myself. Yeah, the parking sensor's freaking out. So now we're up and onto it. But the question is, are we going to bottom out? So I should be able to start straightening out. I keep thinking to go for the brake pedal, but I forget it's one pedal drive. But still a good thing to kind of do. I will say these pickup trucks sometimes are not the most fun to do. Oh, they struggled to get over at the end. You can hear the traction control system go crazy. But yeah, with the longer wheelbase, sometimes it's just kind of, you kind of got to wait for the weight to shift and everything. A big heavy vehicle. But yeah, I mean, it didn't bottom out, so impressive with the ground clearance. So this is going to be kind of our quote-unquote extreme rock crawling obstacle. I do have the rear locker locked now, just because the truck has been kind of struggling with the back end in terms of slipping. I just broke the rules. I crossed my arms. I haven't been off-roading in a little bit. Little kid kind of takes up a lot of time, and so yeah, just taking it slow. Thing I forgot about off-roading is how much stress you feel. Even like I've done these obstacles a bajillion times in a bajillion different cars, and there's still those moments of you just kind of feel stressed. I think I'm on 3 wheels. It feels like it. Oh yeah, I was definitely on 3 wheels. This truck is so big. What I will say is, oh, I got up this in a Grand Cherokee, so I should be able to get up this in this truck. That rock is really close to the side though, on that side. The torque really helps out. I'm still kind of unsure about this one pedal drive situation, because it can be kind of jarring, shakes the truck a little bit. But again, I mean, I'm sure it's something that I just have to kind of get used to as a driver. But I mean, it did it really well. No drama with the rear differential locked, which we're now gonna, is it not gonna let me unlock it? Okay, cool, that was quick. So you just have to, I just had to have the wheels straight. I mean, that makes sense. But that was impressive. So I now have both diffs locked. Don't really need it for this next obstacle. I just want to see what it feels like in the pickup truck. And this is cool how it's funny how like you have just, you know, either you have the rear diff locked or you have both locked, and it's just one button or the other. You don't have to like press multiple buttons, which is nice. And yeah, the biggest thing with this, what I'm noticing with this off-road is it's less about the truck getting up the obstacles. It's more about just fitting. Similar to the, I mean, very, very similar to the Raptor, right? It's like if you can fit the Raptor on an obstacle, it'll make it up. And I'm kind of seeing the same thing here with the AT4X. Both of the diffs locked, and this is steep, by the way. I mean, you guys can see it's all sky. Both of the diffs locked, and it's just like a mountain goat with the grip here. I mean, there is a little bit of traction control intervening, but very little slip. Gonna try to avoid both of these. I'm not gonna be able to avoid that rock. Let's take it slow. Oop. Man, this is impressive. I am extremely impressed here with how grippy this is. And even when you're like, this is a side slope here, a little bit off kilter, and it's got a decent amount of flex to where it's not, again, it's not uncomfortable, but it is still a heavy truck. It's still a heavy truck, so you do kind of, you do feel the weight. Last obstacle, we'll see if the AT4X can do it. If it can't, well, it's not, well, it's pretty steep, but I should be able to reverse out if we can't make it up over these rock ledges. Man, and as I get closer, I'm like, this was not as good of an idea as I maybe thought it was. I'm gonna go to the side here and take it from this angle. Yeah, instead of going straight up, those are just big enough. Yeah, I'm struggling. Those are just big enough that probably 35s just for the grip. If this was not so slick with the sand on the rock, it would be a different situation, but You got to remember the tires, these tires are really struggling on this. It may not look like it on camera, but it's not the worst possible. I'd say mud or snow would be I'd say mud or snow would be way worse than this, but still, it's not ideal. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about the AT4X off-road, and I'll include a little clip at the end. There's that mountain over there you guys can see across the way. I have a backpack, 100 pounds worth of rocks in it, 115 pounds to be exact. I'm gonna climb up that mountain with the backpack, or at least attempt to do it, so wish me luck.